All right, so we are excited to be here on the Pit and Process podcast. So to give you a quick breakdown of what this is all about, is the Pit and Process podcast is based on the concepts and teachings of our founder, the late great Pastor Claudine Phillips. She believed that God had a special, unique plan for each of us. She also believed that when each plan came a journey or process that we have to go through to get ready, to prepare, and to equip us to walk into our destiny for greatness. In regards to the pit, we all know the story of Joseph. He had a dream. He was favored by his father, but also resented by his brothers. He was thrown into a pit before being sold into slavery. We want to focus on the pit, that dark place, a place of despair, moments of uncertainty, right? You dream, you had a dream, but all of a sudden, you don't know where you are. How are you going to get out of it? How do you bounce back? Herein lies the Pit and Process podcast. Now, today we have history in the making. All right. History is being made today. The first ever podcast episode for the Pit and Process podcast is about to happen now. We are super excited, and we could not think of a better guest to start off with. Alicia Katrina Davis has been a professional singer since the age of 12, singing with the St. Paul FBH Mass Choir. She has been singing with the Henry Hall and New Dimensions for over 15 years, and she has sung internationally in countries such as Africa, Germany, Poland, and Switzerland. She is currently attending the Mount Airy Church of God in Christ and has functions as a choir member and a praise and worship leader. Now, her favorite book of the Bible is the book of Proverbs, and she lives by the motto of her family, which is live holy and never stop learning. Let's give a warm welcome to the very first guest. We are excited. Yes. 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 Oh, and by the way, I'm Bill, and this is my co-host,
Terrence Reese.
Terrence Reese. Yes, sir. We're excited.
What's going on? How are you?
I am doing great. How are you?
I'm great. I'm blessed and highly favored. That's what they say.
That's what they say.
Indeed, indeed.
That's what's up. So we just had like some questions. Like, I'm a pastor kid. I know you're a pastor kid. So just some questions of like how does it feel being a pastor kid, like a PK kid? Like what's the ups and the downs? What's your dislikes? What I mean? Like, I know you seen it all because I seen it all. I know you had your ups and your downs or whatever. So like, what's some? I'm just trying to say it in the way. What's some of your downfalls of being a pastor kid?
Okay, well, first, I want to say thank you so much. I am so honored to be your first guest. I think that is awesome. I'm so excited for what you guys are doing. I think this is great. It gives a lot of us an opportunity to tell our story. And my story began in my mother's womb. My mother was an evangelist back in the days, and I can literally say I was surrounded by the word. And when I was a little girl, I was very aware of being a preacher's kid. I was very aware of that because it's something about being a preacher's kid where people, they just won't let you forget.
That's true.
And it becomes your overall label. And I felt the expectations. I remember distinctly at 5 years old, someone saying to me, you're just like your mom. Well, my mom was a preacher, so I was like, okay, that's great. I want to do what mom does. With, being a kid, not understanding what that meant. So, growing up in church, being exposed to being treated different. I honestly say I remember being treated different and having to live than the other kids in the church. Um,
That's true.
yeah, one thing I remember specifically was I think all the kids, all the girls could wear pants to choir rehearsal, but I was not allowed to.
I didn't have that problem.
That is,
I didn't have that problem.
that is specifically for the PK girls. That it's just a completely different existence. And I remember um, feeling awkward. Like all the other girls had pants on, and I was like, I don't understand why I can't wear them. And my mom said, you have to walk differently because, I'm a preacher, so you have to live differently. As a kid, you don't understand, like, what does that have to do with me? I'm a kid. I mean, I should just be able to, be like other
Trust me. I know some days, like, I piggyback off, like,
kids.
I used to, I won't say hate revivals. I used to dislike going to them, especially like in the summertime. And you know how it is, like you, all your friends is outside, and here Monday evening, 6 o'clock, we gotta get ready for church that whole week. You like, come on, especially like Friday nights.
Mhm.
Those was the nights, and we in there till like 12 o'clock. They praying and they still doing their thing, the deliverance and stuff. They used to fry the fish in the back and stuff. Like,
You
you
know
know
what?
how it is.
Yeah, that reminds me of the tent revivals my mom had. And like you
Yeah,
said, in the middle, I think they were usually in July and it was hot. And the interesting thing is South Jersey is more humid than North Jersey. Whoa. I just fell. That was hilarious. Edit that out. What I remember is it would be so hot and humid. And I remember all the excuse me, the planning that had to go into it. And I remember distinctly being a teenager and none of the other members of the children were involved in the process.
that's crazy.
Boy, their
I
summer.
remember stuff like that. Remember like remember when I got 16, I got my little first car. I'm like, when I get remember Billy, I'm like, I get my car, I ain't coming to church. Like I'm gonna
No,
do
he was
me.
gone. He was
I be
gone.
gone.
He was gone.
Soon as I get home, I need you in church. God, like, all right there, yo. So it was like
The
it
red
had this,
city Beretta, right?
the red Beretta. Yep. Matter of fact, we used to go to her church. We drove together to the church, to her church.
I remember, and you know what? I always felt this connection, like we're all being held hostage, aren't we?
Oh my God. Saturday mornings, the banquets and all that stuff.
Yes. Well, we have been in so many services together. I think back now, we've spent a lot of time together in services. And it's just interesting how one uh, preacher's kids, we can all be in the same space and we just can kind of look at each other
And
and
no,
no, you see the struggle and the pain. You just like you are. Me too. I feel it. I mean, for years, I was my mom's adjutant since the age of probably 5. Before there was an adjutant, I carried my mom's stuff when she would go preach. So when the whole concept of adjutant came along and someone asked me, I want you to be an adjutant. Why? I already do that.
yeah,
I don't do anymore. But I learned what it was to serve in ministry,
that's true.
see the behind the scenes of ministry. And that's one thing as a preacher's kid, we see what happens behind. I want to
That's true.
behind the pulpit. Everybody sees what goes on in the front, but we see what goes on behind
When
it.
those doors shut.
And that in itself is a reality show. Like Greenleaf has
Oh, that was my show. That was my show.
on what preachers kids, what we deal with. We could write a whole new series
That
because
was my show.
are just crazy.
I
It's
think I like that show because I was connected to it a little bit.
you can see yourself, you're like, oh, you could feel the pain of the characters because you're like, I've been through that. I understand that pain. Like you see the reaction, you're like, Me too.
Right.
I felt it too. But it's interesting the journey that we had. And one thing my brothers and I had to deal with was we grew up in North Jersey. And I was always a preacher's kid, but my mom didn't become a pastor until I was about 16.
Okay.
So it wasn't just the change from being a preacher's kid to a pastor's kid, but it was also a cultural change because we grew up in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut part of New Jersey.
Okay.
And we got sent to, what is it, the Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware part of the state. And when we came down the turnpike and hit Cumberland County, New Jersey, we were like,
What's this?
it's Delaware? Like, where are we? This can't be New Jersey.
I remember we used to come to your church. I'm like, man, this is dark. Like, where is we going?
No, it's funny. My friends that would come down from like Long Island to upstate New York, they were like, one of my friends, he said, "Oh my God, you're down here behind God's back." I said, I can't believe this. And
I
I was
was like, when your mom, like, Pastor David, I remember she like testified about my grandma, and I remember the times when I'm trying to think. I don't remember that was the first time we met, but I remember her leaving the broadcast one time on a Tuesday, coming to like to the church, to your church one time. And I remember like little stuff like that or whatever.
yeah.
I forgot what y'all had going on, but we left there and we got on 55 from Camden and came to y'all to one of y'all service.
Let me backtrack a little bit. So grew up in North Jersey. My mom became a pastor. One thing that was very life-changing for us was the commute. We commuted from exit, so anybody from Jersey, exit 11 on the turnpike down to exit 3.
Wow.
2 or 3 times a week. So when I was directing the choir, I had to come down for rehearsals. And we had Easter program, resurrection programs, or Christmas. We were coming down for that. Services on the weekend. We did that for 7 years. And and see, people forget that, or they don't know that part. We did that for 7 years. So let me tell you the slickness of my brothers. So what they did was they signed up for sports, football, wrestling, anything that
Just
would
not to go.
listen. They had practice. Oh, I can't go. I got practice. Well, guess who didn't have a sport that they could play? I had chorus practice, and guess what? Chorus practice ended in time for me to get in the car with my mom to come down here.
That's funny.
I can say it now. I wouldn't say it then because I didn't want my brothers to be influenced by what I said because I'm the oldest. So I knew if I wasn't handling it well, they wouldn't either. So I had to bite back how I felt. In all honesty, I hated it.
So what do you think like the benefits of being a pastor kid? What do you think the benefits is? Do you think we have any benefits?
Yeah, there's some benefits.
I know it was one real funny though. We used to eat first when we go to like the guest churches. Remember?
Let me tell you something. That is a benefit. You get to
Real talk. Like they used to serve the guests, but that's the pastor kid. Head up this plate right here.
Yes. That is
bless you.
You get good food. You get to connect with the pastor's children.
Yeah.
So what's interesting is, and I can honestly say, I think most of my friends are preachers' kids because we have a way of connecting. And I think and we build these lasting friendships because no one understands what we go through except someone in the same position.
That's true.
Friends who you can talk to who understand what you're dealing with.
That's true. I know I had another question, like what was some of your like downfalls, like being a pastor kid? Like, just like I know like some was like when she used to cry like over certain things. And that's what I've been like, you know what? I ain't trying to be no pastor. Like, I see what she go through. Like, I ain't trying to deal with those people, yo. So I know, like, what are some of your downfalls, you think?
I can honestly say since the age of 5, I have always felt a sense of isolation.
Yeah.
Like I always feel by myself. Because of, I think what it is, it's because of the call on your life. It kind of people like people don't want to be around you because you're too saved. Like I remember,
like they can't say certain things, and then you try to be like I don't know the word now here, like hip and all that stuff. So you try to like mark what they do sometime, and then they'll look at you like.
But you know what? I didn't try to do that, and I'm gonna tell you why. When I went to church in Newark, I grew up in the suburbs. So so Jersey's got a ton of different accents.
Yeah, totally different.
But it's a bunch of different ones. So the closer you get to New York, the closer they sound like New York. I grew up in the suburbs, so I sound like the Cosby Show. I had to speak slang. I had to read a lot. I had to be articulate. And that's being a preacher's kid because you have to interact with pastors. You have to be able to hold a conversation, lead them to the pastor's office. You have to be like a little adult. So when I went to Newark, they talked different. They used English words, but completely different way of speaking. So because of that, it kind of isolated me from them. And I learned to be myself. Because one thing I learned at that time was people don't really appreciate who you are at the moment. They may not like you, but they'll hate you for trying to be like them.
That's true.
It's just odd. They don't like you, but if you try to be like them, they'll dislike you even more. So I learned to be myself. And being myself did not win me friends. It made me lots and lots of enemies. And I can honestly say I still have a few to this day when I was a child.
Did you always want to go to church?
Yeah, well, where else was I going?
What?
I didn't know where else to go. It was like church was it.
But I'm saying, like, I know, like, did you ever have like, I know for me, like I said, revivals, like Monday through Friday, or if we have revivals, I know Monday through Friday it was still at church. Monday night prayer, Tuesday broadcast, Wednesdays. I think like Wednesdays. I think Fridays probably Billy. That was like the only days we didn't have to go.
You know what? Wednesday was free. It was Thursday Bible study, Friday pastoral teaching.
Yeah.
Now hold on. What's the difference between Bible study on Thursday and then pastoral teaching on Friday? But it was a difference though. It was.
I, to this day, I have no clue. I think just to get us there.
That's what I'm saying.
Saturday choir rehearsal.
Oh.
Yeah. You know what it is?
And we sing the same old songs.
But I think a lot of it is rooted in a lot of it comes out of our ancestors' experience in slavery.
Right.
Okay.
Church became that place where we could express ourselves. And it became the place where we could have a title or a position or some kind of power. Because think about it, you have a people who are powerless over their own physical bodies. One day out of the week for maybe an hour or two, they have control over something.
Okay.
I think that's a lot of what it is. It's like, and the thing is, in our community, we still have people who feel powerless, who don't have degrees, who've never moved up in a job. There's still church people who clean, janitors. They clean, they do domestic work. So they don't know what it is to be promoted on a job or to make like a lot of money. So when they come to church and they have a title, that's worth, they'll fight you for the one we hear the most often is the usher president. They will fight you for that.
Yeah, you was on the usher board too.
No. That's one. I told him, I said, I can't be an usher. The Lord didn't call me the usher.
I was on the usher board.
Not for me.
I was on the board.
I can honestly say that's one thing I did not do.
Really, wasn't you on the usher board too?
I was. This is Francis. I was.
Yeah.
I was.
That, oh my God, that's right. 'Cause
That wasn't by choice, just so you know. It wasn't by
You security too. Remember they gave us some joints for our ears.
security. Yeah.
I can remember going to your church and I could tell by your posture. I said, yeah, they got you to do something to you didn't want to do. Because that's how you feel. And that's what I'm saying. When you're a preacher's kid, you can look at another preacher's kid, you just say, yeah, I know. I got you. You don't have any choice. And isn't it interesting as people leave the church, you get more work?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, sure.
So here's the benefit of that. I'm gonna speak to the benefit of that. Because of that, I learned how to do a whole bunch of stuff I never would have learned how to do.
That's true.
Listen, we had some people that were running the TV ministry and they left. So my mom was like, who we gonna get to do? I don't know who's gonna get to do it. And the rest of the church looking like, I'm not doing it.
That's true. Because I remember I used to record the services
Yeah.
back in the church. I was in charge, not in charge, but I remember I used to do the audio and all. I swear I knew what I was doing. I used to just act like I'd be turning it. So I had a little echo or something. Oh, that's not the right way. Like stuff like that.
I had
But
to
I think go ahead, I'm sorry.
I would say you get really good at doing things and learn how to do things you never considered doing. Like I think I probably ended up taking graphic design as a degree because I designed everything at the church. Program, flyers, the water bottle labels. I did all kinds of stuff because I had free reign to do it. I would pitch ideas to my mom. She was like, let's try and see if it works. So I got good at that, which is great. In the TV ministry, it's opened up doors for me to do other things. One thing I did start was a podcast of my own, which I need to kind of get back on top of. But the cool thing is someone did ask me to produce their podcast.
Oh, nice.
That's what's up.
I was like, this is great. And I'm thinking, and they asked, I'm sorry?
I said, see how the doors is opening?
Yes. And it's funny because believe it or not, the person who it's for, she's a preacher's kid. See how that connection?
Yeah.
Preacher's kids, there's such great anointings and giftings on the inside of us. And to be honest with you, it isn't until we're put under pressure that it even comes out. Like I'm doing stuff I never thought I would do.
That's what's up.
So that's the benefit of being one of the benefits of being a preacher's kid, besides, the preferential treatment, the VIP treatment. But you really learn a lot in ministry. You learn how to deal with people. I mean, church people can be some of the most challenging people to deal with.
I'm not gonna hold you. I
Amen.
I don't know how to pick. Well, I couldn't stand them, honestly.
Okay.
It was like I seen so much like, well, you like I could like I say, like you see like your parent do so much for certain people and then they turn their back on you.
Mhm.
You feel me? And it's like a slap in the face. I remember like I didn't do sports a lot, but I remember like being on the baseball team, like when I was in like middle school. And like, grandma, y'all gonna come to my game? And they didn't come because they had to go to court with sister such and such for something. And I'm like, you know what I mean? Like little stuff like that. And then like she did all of this. And then they turn around and just up and leave for like the dumbest thing or whatever. I think the biggest like downfall I think I saw was like one time, I think Billy remember we was in church and we had a meeting. And it was like a big blow up or whatever. And she was driving home and I was driving behind her and she pulled over and was like screaming, crying. And I think from that day, like, I'm like, you know what? I ain't trying to be no pastor. Like, forget these people.
Mhm.
And then it's like, God rest her soul, like when she passed, and then you see these people come to the funeral, but then like the couple years ago or months ago, when we tell you to come to like the little stuff that we have and while she's alive, nobody want to come. but then y'all here to see her, you know what I mean, going to glory. Like I ain't gonna hold you. Like that was my downfall or whatever. So it's like I let a lot of stuff go or whatever. But in the back of my mind, it's like I learned to pray. She
Mhm.
always taught us how to pray, right, brother? She always taught us how to pray. I believe like I'm a worshiper because she was always a worshiper and stuff like that. But that was like my little downfall. Like being a pastor kid was cool, I think sometimes. Like the little benefits I said. At the end of the day, what can we do? That is us.
You know what? I think another, excuse me, another downfall is I remember a pastor's daughter from when I was little. And when my mom started pastoring, she said something to me. I didn't understand it at, in years after that, I did. She said to me, they are going to expect you to do everything and they're not going to thank you for any of it. And I was like, "What?"
Wow,
I didn't know what she,
that's so true.
I mean, I was 17, so I was just like, I don't even know what that means. Well, I can honestly say it didn't take long for me to um, get the revelation of it because I started to see what she meant. It's very difficult to see, like you said, it was difficult to see my mom give so much to some people. And and they didn't return. They didn't get back anything. They just took. And I can't tell you how many people I've seen do that where they would just take and wouldn't get anything back. And then the other thing was to see people who were in position to help and to do things, and they would not give 100%. They would give just enough. And the
That's
thing
so
is,
true.
I understand is when they were giving just, let's say they gave 20%, someone has to make up that 80%. And I can honestly say lots of times I was helping to make up that 80%. And I used to say to God, I don't understand. It's not fair. Why do I have to give so much? They have to give so little, and they get to enjoy their lives. Go to the beach, go to the mall, get your hair done, nails done. But I can remember being up late at night, finishing a flyer, finishing the program, cleaning the church. And I want to say this because I've had people say to me, they didn't really think that I did anything hard in ministry. Let me explain something to you. I've cleaned toilets,
That
church, I've mopped floors, I've helped move furniture, I've helped paint. I
did
haven't done
that.
all the stuff in church that nobody wanted to do. I did it.
I
I
did
taught
that.
school at 17. You know why? At 17, because nobody else wanted to do it. No adults. I told my mom I'll do it. That was my first. That was my first ministry opportunity. Was to teach kids age 4 to 13. Because
I've
no.
been there from the beginning. I remember when we started in the house, at 33, 37, 32 North Dalhart Street. And I remember her freezing cold, wiping these chairs down for the church for the for on Sunday. I remember getting up Sunday morning, having Sunday school in the house, setting up the chairs and everything. I remember all that stuff, yo. I used to be so embarrassed they had church in the house, yo.
I can imagine. Oh, wait a minute. Why am I laughing? We did too.
Yeah, I was like,
I was like, wait a minute. I'm kikiing. I'm saying, wait a minute. We did too twice.
the heart of North Philly, and like your friends, they be, what's going on in your house? Like, what's that? What's going on? Like, come on, y'all can come in. I ain't coming in there. Like,
I know. Let me tell you, the first time the church came here, it was down in the basement. And we literally became known as a church in the basement. It was like a punchline. People in the community were laughing
Oh,
because
wow.
we were having church in the basement, and some of the members were embarrassed about
yeah,
it. Like, but then help us to get out of the basement. And then,
right.
Yeah, yeah.
so I mean, I have been through, you know, so many different facets of ministry.
Right.
I even remember in my 20s when I had to be the one left in charge of the church. And
But you said you was in charge of the church?
my parents would go out of town. And because of certain situations, I had to be left in charge of the church.
Oh
Oh,
wow.
we shut the church down. My grandma wasn't having that. Like, we canceled the church today.
I had to be, left in charge to make sure that things, ran properly, and even to the finances and turn off the lights, locking up the church. And I remember having to, people coming to me after church, wanting to help with certain things. I was just like, I remember my parents went to Africa for 2 weeks, and this was shortly after we moved. So I was about 23. And I remember my mom checked in like a few days before they came back. I said to her, "Can you please come back home? Like, I'm about to barbecue all of your sheep."
Barbecue sheep. Wow.
I know Billy had some questions for you too.
Oh yeah. Now this is all good stuff.
That's what he
I
said.
wanna-
It's like, no.
I know. Whatever. Now on to my. Nah, I'm joking. Um, nah, but one thing I did hear you talk about was your family's motto. So let me ask you, what makes you successful?
What makes me successful is, what? There's a book called Think and Grow Rich.
Go in here.
Yeah. Great book.
Great book.
For years, I didn't understand it. Everyone said read it, and I was like, I read it, but I don't get it.
The name of it, I'm sorry, I didn't hear it. What's the name?
Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
All right. Check that out.
After reading the book, and I think one day it clicked, what the book was saying was you have to have a vision, you have to set goals, and you have to take those goals into smaller goals. And as you hit those mini goals, it will slow walk you towards your main goal, which will help you then to fulfill your vision.
Right.
That makes you successful. It's like the last thing that I did, which I think back now, I still don't know how I did it. So last year, my goal was to get my HR certification, excuse me, to get my HR certification December last year. So everything was going great. Out of nowhere, I got sick. And it was around Thanksgiving, got sick. So I kept pushing through. The day of the exam, I was so, and I was like, I must have the flu. And I was like, God, just give me the strength to get through this exam. And I'm going to sleep after this. Got through the exam and passed it. Went to sleep, and I think I called off work for the next 2 days. Finally figured out this doesn't feel like the flu, something weird. This doesn't feel right. To then find out I had COVID.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let me get my mask.
Did you take it? Yeah. I was determined to pass that exam.
It's like, no.
Yeah,
A little human, just joking.
fine.
Hey, I'm joking,
I'm not offended.
You're a PKK, you can't get offended.
But the funny thing was, and a lot of people don't know, is I took the exam early that year and failed it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, failed it. And I try to tell people, but all I hear is that I passed. I'm like, but no, I didn't pass it the first time. I failed it. And when I failed it, I was in shock because I was like, I know I studied. I don't know why I didn't pass this exam. I was hurt and devastated because I wanted to pass exam because I was like, I wanted to get another job. I had been in my job about 4 years at that time, and I wanted to get another job. And I was like, I need this certification so I can get another job. So that's when I scheduled the second one, took the class, studied, got ready. And that's why I was ready to push through.
Wow.
Healing. And I'm telling you, I really was sick. After that, I think I was sick for about a month before I was even clear. So it took about a month for me to get tested negative.
So what made you, so this kind of goes to my next question. So what made you push even beyond that feeling that you had? Number one, we know you failed the first test, so you could have had disappointment, negative thoughts in your mind, and then you had the physical challenges as well. What made you, how were you able to push through that time?
You know what often keeps me going is the thoughts of my grandmothers.
Okay.
Um, both of my grandmothers, I remember them both saying to me in different ways, they cleaned houses for people.
Right.
Both of them said to me, they never wanted me to have to clean anyone's house. They both said, go to school, get an education, and you'll never have to do this. And for a while, my grandmother stayed here with us.
Okay.
I remember coming home one day, had a rough day. I came home a little early, and she asked me why I was home. I said, they made me mad, and that's why I came home. She said, I lied to you not. She said to me, well, do you still have your job? I said, yeah. She said, it'll be all right. And walked upstairs. I was like, I said, but this, I don't want you to say that. I want you to understand my pain and my frustration. So I learned from my grandmother, sometimes you just got to suck it up and
Right.
that's how you're feeling. And then the other person, naturally, is my mother.
Of course.
If anybody is an example of pushing past pain and frustration, is my mom. My mom, it took her 6 years and she gave birth to 3 babies and got a master's degree. So I figured she could do that. I could, push through for the next 4 hours to
Oh,
get that.
wow. Okay. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Okay.
Yeah. So I look at them, they're my example. I watch them set goals and push. I mean, and just keep pushing until they get it. And that's what I've learned to do.
Okay.
Something in sight, just keep pushing. I may fail, but at least one try.
Yeah. I like that. At least trying. I think a lot of times we don't even fail or even win because we don't even try. Like, so yeah. Let me ask you this. So let's dig a little deeper. All right. That was some good stuff, but we want to, see some tears. No, I'm joking. No tears. But no, that's a joke.
Man.
That was a joke. That was a joke. No, but so like let's think about Joseph, right? So like how when he was in prison, he gave the cupbearer a dream, his dream, and but the cupbearer forgot about him. And I think in those moments, I believe Joseph, had to be devastated, had to be broken, even just for a moment, thinking he's about to get out. He did his job, blah blah blah. Give us a time where you felt like you were broken, almost broken. You felt like you almost like, man, how can I come back from this? And you came back, you saw the light at the end of the tunnel, you saw the other side. Tell us about a moment like that if you can.
A time when I felt, you know what? It's funny. I was trying to think about that. um, I don't know. I don't really think. Okay, I do.
You got one.
I got one. Oh, this was a difficult one. So when I was when I was 18, I went
Get it out.
1995. I was all excited. Yes, yeah. Woo, go school. I was like, yes, I can. And my thing was, this was my escape. I can't wait for the church people. I'm out of here. Graduate. Never come back to these people.
Never come back. Okay.
That was my whole plan. I'm gonna find another church. Well, at 19, I started having some difficulties at school. And my mom came and got me from school and told me I wasn't going back. You want to talk about, I felt like I was in jail. It's at 19, I didn't know what to do.
Why you couldn't go back? Because church or the things you were just going through at school?
I had a really bad roommate situation. My GPA dropped. I mean, I could tell it now. My GPA, it dropped. My parents were so shocked. They had never seen a GPA that low. I never had a GPA that low. It was bad. It was bad. I can tell it now. I was embarrassed back then. And that was the thing. It was the embarrassment and the shame of having to come home. That was one. Two, it was the church thinking I was home because I was pregnant. Oh, when I tell you, I could tell something they were hoping. Oh, they was like, oh, we got her now, little Miss Perfect.
They try to find every little thing.
They were waiting for me to come up pregnant. And the next few years, I kind of stumbled through. So at 19, I didn't have a driver's license. I didn't know how I was going to get a job. Why? Because we were still going back and forth we were still commuting.
Right.
I didn't have a car, no license, trying to figure out where I'm going to work, at the time, trying to figure out how to get back into school. It was during this process, my friends who were at school were trying to get me some money to come back to school. Then that's when I found out my parents made too much money. I was like,
Didn't get financial aid.
Couldn't get nothing. I was like, what? We're not poor? I can't get any money? So then the realization hit me that I was never going back. And I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I mean, I literally stumbled for the next few years. I never told anybody or talked to anybody about it because I was embarrassed. I mean, the pastor's daughter that's not supposed to happen to the pastor's daughter.
Right.
And the thing is, the expectations for what I was going to do was so high. And that's the thing, the church can put such expectations on you.
That's good. Yeah.
On a pedestal of perfection. You can't make any mistakes. You can never have an attitude. You can never not want to sing on a Sunday. You can never have cramps. You can never have a headache. You have to be on at all times. You have to be happy and love Jesus and the people all at the same time.
Sure.
And I'm gonna tell you, during that time, I didn't like those people. I can literally say from the time I came back home, my whole 20s was just angry. I was angry.
Ask you, so did you, and this is just being real without, getting too deep, but did you have resentment at that time?
I did because from where I was standing, from my vantage point, everyone else was living their life.
Right.
I wasn't.
Like Demetrius said, yep.
I mean, during that time, probably from 19 to 29, next 10 years. Graduated college, got their bachelor's, got their master's, went into their careers, and I was still trying to figure out what's going on with my life. I just struggling. And it was during that time, God was doing something in me, but it wasn't what I wanted.
Right.
I wanted to finish school and get away from these people.
I was going to say, really, I feel like, do you feel like the way your journey ended up going, getting your certification and everything you have now, the time that it took, do you feel like that really can you now see maybe why they took you out at that time when you were younger? Do you feel like maybe does it all come together now, or?
It does. Looking back, I can see the pain of it and the anger and frustration. So I had to go through a journey of deliverance to get past all that. Right. And in the midst of that, made the mistake. It's funny, I was thinking earlier today, made the mistake of dating someone who had just gotten saved, which was a huge mistake. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Did not know that this person couldn't handle that situation. Right. And the thing is, the situation continued for years.
Right.
Where I was trying to, and the thing is, I think that's what helped to keep me stuck too, was
Right.
this person wouldn't release me and they wouldn't move on.
Right.
They were in the church. It was just the whole dynamic just helped to keep me stuck.
Right. But you got out though. I think that's good though.
Yeah, I did get out. Definitely moved on. So one of the things that helped was going back to school.
Right.
Let me tell you, that single-handedly helped me so much because now I wasn't available to everyone.
Right.
I had to figure out how to do ministry without me being just right there to do everything. So I was no longer the fixer and no longer the problem solver. People had to solve their own problems at the church, which was great. So I went to school and that helped. Just working and also to music,
Right.
singing with choirs and in the group that I sing with now, Henry Hall in New Dimension, that helped me because that helped me to see ministry in a different way.
Right.
A lot of them in the group are non-denominational, which is very different than Pentecostal.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Ministry from a different vantage point. So it helped me to understand everybody doesn't have a church like us.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Like they were like really relaxed and like I said, how do you guys do that?
Right.
Different. It's very. I said to my mom, I said I never seen people relax in ministry before. I don't know what that is. Like
They're not
really?
sweating. They're not sweating. And no.
So it was very different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very different and it helped me to
Right.
understand God in a different way. That God wasn't just trying to control my life, because that's what it felt like.
Right.
I'm trying to control my life, and he wasn't gonna let me do anything, and that really wasn't what it was.
Right.
I had to understand something that someone said to me. A friend of mine, his mother, asked me this question. She asked me, "What is more important, God or ministry?" And I said to her, "Aren't they the same thing?" And she said, "No, they're not."
Mm,
I was like, that's kind of deep.
that is deep.
We kind of intertwine them, together. And I think this is very specific to our community, our way of doing church,
Right.
that we kind of twist who God is. And I think
Yeah, that's true. They
yeah, there's a lot of twisting, manipulating that goes on where we are led to believe that this is God, and really that's not God. That's someone's opinion or their belief.
yeah, and then people now it's like I think people they believe the wrong is the right now, and the right is the wrong now.
We had evolved into something very different. It's very now.
Right.
It's different, but yeah, I got out. I've been singing with Henry Hall for over, and I still can't believe over 15 years.
I was going to ask you about like the whole music, because that's one thing we didn't talk about. Well, I know music is a very, important part of your life, and you're a wonderful singer, and it kind of tell us a little bit about that, about you singing and everything.
Blessed, you are blessed to sing.
I'm
Oh, yeah,
sorry.
we weren't.
I would say you are blessed to sing. I always would tell my grandma, like, I know God didn't give me that ministry to sing, because I ain't gonna lie, like I would do so wrong singing. Like I like
I can't.
I'm so serious. Like I can like I think half of the family, like they can sing and stuff. But I know me, like I had it all planned out. I would sing for God, and then I would go to R&B, like real talk. I would get the money, and then I
Come back.
come back to church, and they got to be like on a Sunday, like on the Deliverance Sunday. I always had it planned out, and I bust open the door and I sing something like, "Ooh, Jesus, like Jesus loves me," and everybody started singing, and they be doing like this, like, "Oh, he's coming back to the Lord. He's coming back to the Lord." Yeah. Okay. God didn't give me that ministry of singing, but He gave you that ministry.
He did. He definitely
Yeah.
And,
This last Sunday, what was it? When you just sung for over the for the Zoom, and you I'm trying to think of this song. What song did you just sing?
She sings so many she don't know.
No, but it was one of my favorite. Like I remember we used to open up in prayer, and we used to sing that, and that was like one of my grandma's top songs she used to sing, and you just sung it. I'm trying to think. There's so many of them.
I know I sing, and it was crazy. I sing so often, I don't always remember. I really don't. I've been singing since I was 2. My home church is St. Paul's Calvary United Church of God in Vauxhall, New Jersey. Started off kids choir, 2 years old. Then when I was 10, we went to St. Paul, I guess back in the FBH in Newark, and started singing with the mass choir when I was 12. Sang with them till I was 16. And then we came here. Then after that, believe it or not, I didn't start doing praise and worship until I was about 17.
Wow. Okay.
I have didn't have to, because in both churches there were people to do that. So I never did it. It's honestly, it's here. And I'm saying, when we were talking about earlier about the benefits,
Right.
like the stuff I do now, I didn't do that until I came here.
Oh, wow.
I did solos, which was, what we did back in the days, but I learned how to do praise and worship here. And what's crazy is when I started doing praise and worship songs, nobody I knew any other churches were doing it.
Oh,
So
wow.
there was no one to teach me. So most of my friends, and I was like, so how do I do it? And they were like, you have to figure it out. I was like, figure it out. I need help. They were like, man, we're not doing it at my church, so you have to figure it out. So I literally had to figure out what that looked like. So I listened to Judas McAllister a lot.
Okay.
He became my template for what a praise and worship leader looked like, because besides her, I think Fred Hammond was the only one.
Yeah.
So she was it. So I would watch her and listen to her, and I could say she taught me how to do it. And then I started writing songs. Like there was one song that we did, which I probably need to finish one day, that we used to sing at the church, so much so that another church started singing it. I said, okay, I gotta stop singing it until I get this, somewhere. But it was like the gift in me just started to just evolve. And honestly, I was surprised. And I started directing the choir and teaching the choir. And what was funny was the period before I got to that point, when I was about 22, someone who used to go to my church got signed to a record deal. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely. I was excited for her. And there were people who knew, because you know how it is in church, people hear the prophecies over your life and stuff. They hear it.
Right.
Yeah.
And when she got her contract, people just kind of threw it in my face that she got it and you didn't. And I'm gonna tell you, that hurt. And what was going on at the same time was my voice was changing at 22. So the choir, we didn't have a choir at that time. I was singing every week and my voice was squeaking horribly every week. And it was so embarrassing, but my mother made me get up there and sing every week. And I was like, this is terrible.
Right.
Now, the only misstep I think that I made during that time was I should have learned to play the guitar. And
I should learn how to play the drums.
What's crazy is my father's brother, my uncle, he sent down 2 guitars with my dad. He sent one for me and one for Chris. And I said, my dad, why would he send me a guitar? I don't play an instrument. And my dad was like, well, you never know. Just hang on to it. I did. And then a few years ago, the Lord impressed upon me again. I said to the Lord, okay, I'm gonna call this place. If they have 6 o'clock on Thursday night, I'll take it. If not, I'm not doing it. How about I call? And that was the only slot the whole week that was left.
Oh man.
I said, okay, God, I
And a
hear.
choice.
So I've been learning to play for a few years, and I play well enough to at least write a song.
Wow.
My goal was, and eventually I will get, get better so that I can actually perform and play. But now I'm to the place where I can start writing songs and start kind of shopping around, say, hey, you like this song? You want it? And
Awesome, man. That's a great thing because it's like, you know, you could have given up on that. Oh, I'm not a kid anymore. I think it shows you that we can continue to learn. And I think if God gives it to us, we have the ability to actually do it. That's just a great, testimony. I think that should help not only us, but others hearing this podcast. Like, like, okay, I didn't work on this when I was younger, but I can still do it, and think about that. I mean, you went back and you learned. And that's I was going to get into that. That's sacrifice. That's taking time out of your schedule, having to learn, and it's like, and you could say, nah, I don't want to do it, and but look at you now. That's good stuff.
I was nervous about it. And the crazy thing is, my teacher, when I started learning, he said to me, he said, why did it take you so long to learn? He said, you have a natural ability to do this. And I was
Wow.
like, he
Yeah.
said, my if you see this, he said the span of my hand, he said, your reach is amazing. He said, you should have been playing.
Wow.
I said, yeah. I said, I didn't listen to the Lord when he was speaking. And I mean, there's no telling what I could have done, but thank God I listened the second time.
Yeah, but no telling what you're going to do now. I mean, I look at like eventually we all catch up to each other. You know what I mean? Like look at your friends who might have were in school when you first started and your parents took you out. Well, now look at you guys. You are where you are, and it's like you guys never missed a beat. I think eventually we all want to catch up to each other. I mean, I really do, or to an extent, and so that's awesome stuff. This is just really quickly here. How was Africa and Germany and Poland and Switzerland? How were those areas?
Okay, so I went to Europe, I think I was 20, 20 something, 20 something. And I went over with a group on tour. So we were there for 2 months, and it was pretty interesting because the way they do church in Europe is very different.
Wow, I could imagine.
It is. It's the concerts were usually about 90 minutes, so 45 minutes, and then there was a break in the middle, and then another 45 minutes. I was on the first all girl tour, which was pretty neat. And we did a lot of songs. I can't remember a lot of the songs we did, but the main song that they love all across Europe is Oh Happy Day.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So that was our finale song every night, which was amazing. They loved it.
Nice.
And I learned a lot about what it was like to not be in church. Like, it's funny, like the whole pandemic thing, I was fine because I was like, I've already done this. I was there for 2 months. We didn't go to church, as we say.
Right.
You had your Bible, your personal devotional, and you better hold on to God's unchanging hand for yourself. So that's what I learned.
Awesome.
That's God. And
Awesome.
Africa was hardcore missions. So we went there for the purpose of ministering. So I did preach and sing while I was there.
Wow.
And that church over there is different. It is very different. um the spirit realm is different over there. You gotta be on the spirit of God, it's very different.
I feel like everything we've gone through so far, all three of us, is like a um a stepping stone to what we're about to embark into. I feel like, what you guys went through as being, preacher kids, or me being in church at an early age, and you traveling the world, and us having different experience. I feel like we're about to embark on, I think, something new, and I felt like everything we went through in our younger years, not that we're old, right? But a little older, a little bit,
I'm doing. I'm a
Newsflash,
young man.
I know. I'm only 20. No. But my whole point is that I feel like we still have a youthful mindset, and we're still young enough where I think we just can now just take everything we learned from, our pastors, our parents, and just, I think, do great things. I think we're still young enough where we can have that impact, you know what I mean? Like on people younger than us, and we can impart into them what our pastors or your parents imparted into us. I feel like we have that charge, to continue the legacy. And I think things like this, is important, because I think folks are going to hear this podcast that may not go to church, or may not understand, or have been in church and can relate, but they're ready to give up. But they hear your story, or they hear me story, and it's okay, I can continue on, or there is a light at the end of the tunnel. If I messed up in school, I can come back, or whatever it may be. Listen, I had a low GPA. I'm not going to go there. My GPA was a little low. I'm not going to share that. I mean, I'm not that confident to share.
That's the next one.
Hey, that's the next one. But look,
Lord Jesus,
I think I might have beat you, but I'm not even going to go there with that. I'm not going to put myself out there like that. You know what I'm saying? But listen, I mean, I want to tell you that.
That's why I never went to school. Say that.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, my GPA was perfect. You know what I mean? But I want to tell you that this has been such an honor. You know what I mean? And I feel like I was telling Demetri, I felt like we're going to have you back again, and it's going to be a whole different situation. We're going to look back on tonight and say, listen, this has been so fun, and I mean, I'm so grateful and thankful that you allowed us,
Appreciate you.
be here. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I thank you guys so much. This has been great. This is my first interview, so I'm excited.
I think you did a great job. You find you do it like a pro. You like, and you did a good job.
You touched on stuff that I ain't even asked yet, but you good.
Yeah. Nah, but yeah, I mean, definitely inspiring story. I mean, I felt motivated about everything. You're traveling the world, and you're dealing with, disappointment, how you bounce back, how you used, your mom, having, you and your siblings as motivation, and just your grandparents, and even I think comparing, what, people before us went through, and so how, sometimes we want to have church all the time back in the day, and why we did that. So you gave us a lot of good stuff tonight. You really did.
Well, thank you. I mean, it's important to have conversations like these. Lots of times as preachers' kids, we are not heard. We're seen, but we're not heard, and people don't understand what we deal with and what we go through. And
That's true.
we have comeback stories too. We
Yep.
do.
Yes, we do.
I always try to be in the background. Like Billy, remember, he used to always try to be in the background. Like,
Yeah,
I remember
one time
Sunday,
we fought. Remember we fought that one Sunday?
yeah, I remember.
Back, and then they put us up front. Remember they
I
put us,
remember.
we was
Well,
trying to
how about the time we sat outside the whole service?
the whole service.
The whole service.
And they forgot about us.
That's what I used to say. They didn't care about us back then.
Back then, yeah, but then they needed us for every little thing.
Every little thing.
Everything.
Hey, that PK life is something else, ain't it?
I remember getting up, going to open the churches and stuff. That's what I said when I got my first car. I remember I had to go open up the church, turn the heat on, turn the lights on.
Remember
and stuff.
that? Yeah, 4 a.m. prayer. Crazy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there too.
Yeah. In the heat ministry.
Yeah, the heat ministry.
I have done it.
That'd be the best sleep ever, though, boy. The back of the church sleep, what? Ain't no demon messing with you in that, John.
So you hope.
Right, right.
That is funny.
Yeah, but this has been a pleasure. I mean, just a great way to kick off, I think, an endeavor that's going to help change lives. I really believe that what you said on tonight is really going to change lives for the better. And that's what this is about. having conversations, impacting lives, building legacies. I think influencing people for the kingdom, and also it helps us out. I think what you said, what Dimitri said, it helped motivate me. You going back to, getting learning how to play the guitar. All right, Bill, go back, learn what you got to learn, and it's motivation. So definitely, I know you helped me out tonight. I know you helped me out as well. So we definitely appreciate you.
You're encouraging me to sing more.
No, well, maybe we need to rethink what she told us then.
That's hilarious.
Nah. But any last words, man? You got it, buddy.
No, I'm good. I just appreciate you, yo. I really do. Just coming on here and just experience, the different things that you went through, we can relate. So that's why I was like, you know what? I know who to ask. Boom, you. And then it was just funny. Like I said, I looked on 11 years ago. We was together 11 years ago. Don't know where we was at. Of course, it was in church.
That's crazy.
On this day, really?
Today, yo.
Real talk. Crazy.
Wait, if this is a Thursday, we were probably in church.
We had to.
Where else will we be?
I know.
I don't know. I will always look at my Facebook memory for some reason. I don't even go on there, but I always like to go on my memories. Sometimes it's good stuff, sometimes it's bad stuff. And then I still was happening to see your name. I'm like, yo, I'm going. Shit, we was 11 years ago. Like,
so what that means is, right? And this is no pressure. Let me see. I had a low GPA, so let me see if my math is correct. So in 11 years, it's going to be what, 2000 and what, 30? 31 or 32? 31? Oh, that's bad.
Year is it now?
21.
Oh, yeah, so we did 30.
32, right?
Yeah.
2032, October the 7th. So we gotta listen, there'll probably be a whole new platform, be 10 years later. So, and
it's crazy because you posted, I have to cut you off at like 8 something at night, yo.
Wow. And that's gonna be on a Tuesday in 11 years on Tuesday the 7th.
You gotta do it.
We gotta do it. Listen, I got it in my calendar. All right. So
that's gonna be so funny.
No pressure, guys.
So funny.
We're gonna do it.
I had the same shirt on.
Same shirt. I told me gonna be tight.
Oh, Bobby,
tight, like you can't listen. I can't lose some more hair, so you gonna me now.
Then by then my locks will be way down my back.
Yeah. It's been a pleasure. We love you. We appreciate you.
Anytime you guys want me to come back, just let me know.
Well, you coming back.
You coming back. And when you get yours, you bring us on.
Absolutely. That'd be great. Yay.
I can open up and sing.
No.
You got it. Listen.
Oh, yeah. I gotta clear my throat.
Tell them the truth. It's not his ministry.
No, it's not. No.
Oh, but he could go to class and learn.
That's true.
Too. We both could go to class and learn, and we'll see.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true. I think I'm kind of old for that now. But
never too old. All right. We love you. We appreciate you.
Appreciate you, y'all.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
All right.
Wait, we got envelope.